wild card teams. Which team are you buying into right now and is a must-have for the playoffs come Christmas time? Let's start with Shrakes.
All right, now I know it's a pandemic and everyone's being socially distant, so let's picture 6 feet apart and a line wrapping all around the store in a city we call Cleveland, because I think I'm buying the Browns right now. Last week's win was awesome.
Yeah,
it was dark. It was ugly. It was rainy. And they relied on the running game to just grind it out in the trenches, and a defense that has emerged. Look, this defense, which we were laughing about in the start of the season and saying they can't compete if this defense is this bad, and what are they doing? They've been giving up more than 17 points all month of November. And then these two, Hunt and Chubb, they're finally both healthy. They're finally both on the field together. And you know, this franchise did have Jim Brown and Bobby Mitchell once upon a time. And this franchise once had Kevin Mack and Eric Metcalf once a time. And this franchise has a proud running back tradition. These two guys, they're built similarly. So it's not your typical, all right, here's your big power guy and your Thunder Lightning deal with Ron Dane and Tiki Barber, or even your Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram. No, these guys are both just brick houses. You hand the ball, they're going to lower their shoulder, and they're going to take it the distance. I think Cleveland, when it gets to December and January, the way this team is built and the way they're playing right now, it almost is to their advantage when the weather gets bad that they are a running team that now has a tight defense. I'm in on the Browns. They're 7-3. You can't take anything away from them. And if you've watched the Ravens, the Titans, and some of these other teams in the hunt in the AFC, their defenses are leaking. This defense is ascending. I'm going Browns.
It's an interesting point, Peter, because when Brandon Jacobs would leave the field and Ahmad Bradshaw would come on, you take a breath as a defense. We have a different thing here. We don't have to tackle the big guy. It's pretty much the same punches that they throw as running backs. It's great. Yeah. But if the Browns have a line around the door, around the block, what I'm buying, I used to be big back in the day, guys, on trying to buy something that was kind of damaged as is. You know, like it was like the microwave was missing a little part, or the sticker was pulled off, or maybe the sweater had a little thread hanging out and you get 20 bucks knocked off. I was way into that. Always buy the as is. And I'm buying the Raiders coming off a loss. As is. I will take it. I've been really in my brain about this one, because I'm like, why are you crediting the Raiders after a loss? They lost to a division opponent at home. Why are we having a parade for them? Because they're kind of cool, and it's kind of fun, and they're kind of bad. And I mean that like badass, like they're kind of evil. If you think about Carr last week, that shot that we showed on the side, I mean, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen of Derek Carr. Derek Carr usually, you know, kind of a Boy Scout. That's fine. He's a nice guy. There's nothing wrong with it. But this one, he looks like the Crow. I mean, he looks like Eric Draven from The Crow. I was inspired by that picture, and I was inspired by the Raiders putting on the black hat, being a little bit evil, doing the victory lap, being a little bit pissed off. It's not just theatrics. It's really what the organization was founded on. Lyle and Howie and the tough guys like that. I got to tell you, full disclosure, guys, after that thing I said Monday about no big deal, you know, you lost, don't celebrate a loss, I got a message on Instagram from a Raiders fan. He said, real talk, bro, I want to take you to the ring. Me and you till I knock you out. And I kind of like it. That's fine, sir. If you're mad about it and you're a Raiders fan and you want to take it to the ring, I'm not going there. Hell no, I'm not rolling up. But I like that you want me to, and you're pissed and you're into it. And I would love to see the Raiders turn that type of aggression into wins. And they got the talent this year. Let's go. I'm buying Raiders as is.
Come on, Kyle. All those muscles and you don't want no smoke? Go to the ring. I got you.
I don't know how to use them.
I'm throwing the towel if it gets a little out of hand. For me,
throw the damn towel.
I'm looking at the Cardinals. Throw the towel. I would look at the Cardinals and think to myself that last week it was just a big brother putting the Cardinals in a headlock and giving them a noogie and a wet willy. I feel like they're going to bounce back. And they're just exciting to watch. Kyler Murray can throw the ball as good as anybody. But when he turns up with his legs, that's when he really starts to open up the game. So if he could just recapture this, I believe they're going to be so hard to stop. And the defense, I mean, they know how to make plays, and they know how to make plays in the right moments of the game. We've seen it so far this season. So for me, it's the Cardinals. And it's not just the arm of Kyler Murray, but it's when he starts running with the ball like this.
None of you picked the Ravens. The Ravens who are falling into a desperate situation before we heard this week's news. So let's get the latest on Baltimore. Of course, Ian Rappaport has that for us right now. At Rap Sheet, we found out yesterday Lamar Jackson tested positive for COVID-19. Can you explain the latest, but also what is the league watching for from now until kickoff on Sunday when it comes to the Ravens and really the rest of the league in COVID-19?
Okay, the league is not watching to see, all right, well, do the Ravens have one position group decimated? Okay, they have to play their backup quarterback, or Lamar Jackson's off the field for one game and probably 2 games. Maybe we should postpone the game because Lamar's not going to play. It's nothing like that. What the league is looking at, and the reason this game went from Thursday to as of now being scheduled on Sunday, it's about close contacts, high-risk close contacts, and seeing who else is at risk. That is what determines whether or not a game is being played. We've seen teams, the 49ers-Packers games comes to mind, when whole position groups have been decimated. You've had to call guys up from the practice squad. That is why there are bigger practice squads this year. That is why there are COVID-19 replacements on day of game. What this is really about is the Baltimore Ravens, are the Baltimore Ravens at risk if you bring the team together? Are there still positives that are going to come out based on the close contact, based on what the GPS devices on the wrist show, based on all the contact tracing? Who is still at risk in the Ravens organization, and is this going to continue to spread, or do they have it all buttoned up? That is the question. That right there will determine whether or not the Ravens game is played on Sunday or at some point in the near future.
And then beyond player safety, the time this game is played and all of that is, can the Ravens, despite all this adversity, bounce back and get back into the playoff race? All of those questions will be answered in due time. Thank you so much, Ian. Much more ahead. We've got Top 5 Friday to set your lineup. Given all of this news about Ravens Steelers, we've got our Mad Minute number 2, and then Peter Schrager's hitting us with a little